All right, let's introduce ourselves. Starting over here.
Okay. I'm Gary Colley.
And Gary, what was your role in all of this?
Pardon?
What was your role in all of
I do the body man, paint man, some welding, odds and ends.
this? Okay. We're gonna go over here.
Jay Plyler. I drove this creation.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Keith Colley. I built the engines and a lot of the car stuff. Mostly the mechanic, I guess.
Oh.
I'm Bill Ziegler. I just helped out wherever I could.
We were the
Whatever
chassis.
they wanted, I monkeyed around the chassis and built parts for it and so on.
Humility will not work here, so feel free.
Guys at Stateline, they were the ones that we figured were, I mean, they were the best we ever saw.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
They were the heroes,
Whiteheads and Johnny and
Squirt Johns.
Squirt and Bobby was coming into his own in the 60s. He got better. He got better after we started racing.
Yeah, got a whole lot.
I mean, you know, he got harder and harder to beat.
Was it that made Ron so unbeatable?
He, as you know, he said in an interview that one of the reasons is that he had cars built by Frank Ruhlman.
Mhm.
And Frank was ahead of his time. And plus Ronnie was pretty talented, you know. And there's another guy that got better, you know.
Mhm.
He got better and better and better.
Yeah, we made him get better.
Yeah. Well, he'll tell you that.
Well, he did.
He got lazy there. He was winning pretty easily.
I think you probably came as far away as anybody. Was it because of the track? Was it because of the money? What was it that kind of drew you guys here?
Definitely was that. I mean, that was almost like Daytona.
That was big time racing.
I mean, they paid.
You ever been to Bradford Speedway?
Len Briggs, what did he mean to you guys?
Go ahead.
I don't know. Those guys are always great.
Yeah, they treated us great.
Yeah, they were always good.
Probably Leonard's the only one that I ever had a run in with, and I knew then he was right. You know, he was a lot of times he was considered the bad guy. Well, he's the only one that made decisions on the cars.
Yeah.
So you know, he was the enforcer, and we had a discrepancy with our car, and he won. And, but
Lloyd Williams.
well, I like Lloyd. He was a great announcer, but I never felt that he was a big fan of mine. He always called me Jay Plyler, and it didn't bother me one bit. But a lot of fans, they'd come over and they'd say, "We told him that that's not the way to pronounce your name." Well, he just kept saying it. Well, I think he did it out of spite, you know, but it didn't bother me. In fact, Ron Blackmer, he still calls me Plyler.
Were named Rookie of the Year back in a place called Hummingbird in it was 66, I guess. Where was Hummingbird? Is it
Down in DuBois, Pennsylvania.
is there?
The year that Jim Moffat and I built that old 58 Ford, we ran Bradford Speedway on Sunday night and Hummingbird on Saturday night. But we didn't run it every night at either track. I mean, you know, it wasn't a full-fledged deal. We ran Hummingbird probably half the year. And I guess I didn't realize it. I was the Rookie of the Year. Tells you anything about my age, it had an Edsel Engine in it.
Yeah.
How about the hammer?
This is a true story. We pulled our tools. He said, well, my dad has a hydraulic jack he's not using. And I said, my dad's got some safety stands. And we gathered up odds and ends. Our toolbox was this big, literally. That's the only tools we had. And we got started on the car, and we didn't have a hammer. And Jim Moffat said, well, you know, I don't have one, but I'll buy one, and then I'll have it for my house also. Good idea. Next night we go up, he bought a claw hammer. That's what we built that coupe with, a claw hammer.
Getting back to the rules, Keith said one time, we never broke the rules, but we sure bent the hell out of them. All the engines that he ever built throughout our racing years, we never lost an engine.
The only one that went
soft plug.
bad was when soft plug popped out. That's all this is water.
Well, that was my idea.
Yeah.
I found these high-dollar, high-tech, high-performance
Soft
plugs, where you put them in and you tighten a cap screw and it expands, and, I mean, this is the real deal, you know. And he didn't like them. He said, there's nothing wrong with the old style. So, that's what came out. That's right, that's true.
Yeah, well.
Now, you showed him, I'm telling you.
And
But it
it
stayed
ruined
in.
it.
To kind of wrap up that sportsman part of your world, did you make any money?
Yep.
Did you?
We,
Not a lot.
when we started it, we put in $200 apiece.
This is
And,
no lie. I mean, they think that we had this big high dollar car.
$200. Not all at once.
Four of us
Not
put in.
all at once. And we made him the treasurer, and which really wasn't fair because he carried the weight so much on the engine and everything, but he was it. And to this day, I never saw a paper. You know what I mean?
So,
That house in Florida?
Yeah. That's why we didn't make any money. That's.
Couldn't afford
Because
it.
there was no money to operate on.
We had to be very conservative every time we build an engine. It was conservative.
Well, yeah. How'd you like to been the driver? This guy, this guy's the engine man, and he said, "I'm not building," and he meant it. He said, "I'm not putting a lot of horsepower and a lot of compression because I don't want to work on it all the time." He said, "That engine is to get you to the next turn. You pass the guys in the turns."
Yeah.
And
I
he's
said-
serious.
I was serious. I said, if you watch the racing, nobody passes anybody down the straightaway unless it's really bad. All the passing is done in the turns. And I says, we'll build an engine just to keep up with everybody going down the
Yeah.
straightaway. And when we get to the
And that's the
turn,
truth.
it's
That's
up
the
to
way
you.
we operate.
to get to the corner, and it's a whole new experience every
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, as Jim Moffat used to say that. He said a lot of these drivers, he said they've been driving for 20 years, and every time they get to a turn, it's a whole new experience. I thought that was pretty cute.